good afternoon, good evening, and good midnight to everyone who is watching. I am Sheianne Seblante, not Sheianne nor Sheianne, and today I will show you how I study for Bible quiz, and maybe show you some tips for studying here and there. You have been warned. The very first thing I do before I study for Bible quiz is prepping myself with a little prayer. Praying before studying really reminds ourselves about our main goal and why we're studying His Word in the first place. If you need a guide on what to pray for, I will suggest you pray for God to first open your mind and heart. That way you are more aware of the text that you're currently studying. Another one is praying for patience, since you'll need a lot of patience during your study sessions. Another thing I like to ask is for guidance, since we need someone to walk with during our studying journey. Also, despite this being a study session, it's also another way to tell God about anything that's been clogging your mind, or maybe just a way to talk to Him. The first few study sessions honestly won't include a lot of memorization. On my part, the only memorization that takes place during the first few weeks are for quotes until questionnaires are released. With that being said, I think that it is important for us to know the text beforehand, because it sort of primes our brain for memorizing in the latter parts of our review. And also, I think it's right to treat His Word like a book that we love. The main review technique I'm currently doing is a type of active recall that helps in getting to know the text more in depth. So what I do is I read a paragraph, and after I read the paragraph, I try to see how I can summarize it in a way that's simpler and easier to understand. As you can see, there are certain parts in the video wherein I'm looking at the Bible, then I'm looking up at a random place in the room. What I'm doing here is I'm summarizing as I go. As for the quotes, which I like to memorize on the first few months, I've created a schedule on quotes I'm not familiar with, which you can see here. The schedule is based on spaced repetition and the curve of forgetting. I will link some sources you can check out in the description box about how spaced repetition works. But for now, let's talk about how I actually memorize the text. Memorizing is not an easy task, and this is where the patience comes in. Though if you're good at memorizing, sana all. Personally, practice has served me well, and with time, I was able to memorize more easily, though sometimes I still struggle with certain sentences or phrases. And an app that I use for memorizing is Quizlet. Quizlet is an app that uses the flashcard method in order for its students to learn even when they're on their phone. I personally make my own flashcards from the quote list, and this enables me to shuffle through flashcards without using paper. This app is also the reason why I learned so much in the previous quizzing competition. Memorization is hard, so repetition really helps. I have finished John 7 today, and I have one tip for all of you guys. If you feel unmotivated to study, if you feel really tired to study, this goes for every aspect of studying, by the way, so you don't get burnt out. Stop studying for a while and maybe just read the scripture passively just to get the storyline, or even just sleep first, because you're not gonna absorb all of that when you're all burnt out. I pray that all of you guys who are studying right now for Bible quiz, for school, that you guys are doing well, that you guys are praying for wisdom knowledge, that you are being guided by the Lord, that the Lord has opened your mind and your heart to the scripture, and yeah. And that concludes the video. What you're currently seeing are my notes that I made before, but I stopped doing it because I didn't have fun anyway. Thank you for watching, and see you next month.